Okay, I'm here in percent number 3, Google form. We're going to find the new amount given the original amount and the percent of change. So number 1, our original amount is $25 and the percent of change is a 10% increase. And so we're asked, what is the new amount? There's 2 ways I'm going to show you how to do this. Here's the first way. $25 is the original amount. Okay, so we're going to pay $25 plus we're going to pay the 10% increase. So this increase is a percentage of the original amount. So 10% as a decimal, would you agree, is 0.10? So what is 10% of 25? 10% of the original amount. That is going to be the amount that is added on to the original amount. So I'm paying $25 plus the 10% increase. And so as you can see here, I'm multiplying 10.10 times the original amount. This is going to give me the actual amount of change. And so put that in your calculator. 0.10 times 25, that gives you 2.5, which we know is $2.50. So it's $25 originally plus the 10% increase of $2.50. And if you add those together, 25 plus 250, of course, that is $27.50, right? $27.50 would be the new amount, okay? That's way number 1. Okay, you start with the original amount, you figure out how much is being added on to that original, and then you add them together, okay? That's way number 1. Here's way number 2, which is normally what I would suggest doing because it's a little less calculation. The original amount can also be represented as 100%, right? If you were to buy that item, it's 100% of the cost, which is $25. Okay, so the original amount is 100%. Okay, but we are increasing that price by 10%. And so we're going to add 10% onto 100. And what is 100% plus 110%? Sorry, 100% plus 10%. That is 110%. Okay, and how do you write 110% as a decimal? Remember, you take your percentage and divide by 100, or you could say move your decimal 2 places to the left. Okay, so it would be 1.1. 1.1 is 110% as a decimal. And if you're paying a 10% increase on this price, that means you're paying 110% of the original. So 1.1 times the original amount of 25, guess what 1.1 times 25 is? $27.50, right? So either way, you're going to get the same answer. That if you start with $25 and increase it by 10%, you're paying $27.50, right? So put $27.50 into the text box. Number 2, the original amount is 160 bananas. So let's start with that original amount. Okay, and the percent of change is a 20% decrease. And so obviously we're going to take away from that original amount. We're going to take away 20% of 160. So I need to write 20% as a decimal, 0.20. I need to take away 20% of, that's why I'm putting the multiplication parentheses here because I'm multiplying, 20% times the original of 160. Okay, so I got to figure out what this part is. What is 20% of 160? So in my calculator, I put 0.2 times 160, and I get 32. Okay, so if I start with my 160 bananas and take away 32 of them, and that 32 right there would be a 20% decrease. 160 minus 32 would be what? Would be 128. Okay, so I would be left with 128 bananas. That's way number 1. Okay, way number 2 I could do this is I start with 100%, right? 100% would be all the bananas, which would be 160 of them. But I'm decreasing them by 20%. So I got to take 20% away from 100%. Well, what's 100 minus 20? 80, right? So I am now at 80% of the bananas. What is 80% as a decimal? Well, that's 0.80, right? What's 80% of the bananas? 80% of 160. Okay, if I do 0.80 times 160, I would also get 128 bananas. Okay, so in your answer right here, type in 128 and then of course label bananas. You try number 3 and 4, and let's go to number 5 here. The original amount is $25. Okay, so let's do way number 1. I can start with the original amount, 25, and my percent of change is a 300% increase. And so I'm going to add on to this amount, right? Because I'm increasing it by 300%. Well, what is 300% as a decimal? I would move my decimal 2 places to the left, and that would become 3.0, or just 3. Okay, I'm taking 300% of the original amount. So 3 or 3.0 times 25, of course, that would be 75, right? So if my original amount is 25 and I increase it by 300%, that means I'm increasing it by $75. And what's 25 plus 75? That is 100, right? So $100 would be my new amount. The second way you could do it, as I've been showing you, is start with 100%, which is all of the original amount. I'm increasing this by 300%. So I'm going to add on 300% to 100%. I know 100% plus 300% is 400%. Okay, it's 400%. And what is 400% as a decimal? If right there is my decimal, it is 1, 2 places to the left. And so this would be 4.0, or just 4. And I take 400% of 25. Well, 4 times 25, that is what? That is 100. Okay, so my new amount is $100. Number 6, last year there were 400 students at Woodland Middle School. This year the student population will increase by 5%. What will the school's student population be this year? Okay, so first we could start with way number 1. You could do this is you could start with 400 students, and they have a 5% increase. So I need to increase this by 5%. So what's 5% as a decimal? That would be 0.05. Okay, now that percentage, remember, is a percentage of the original amount. So 5% times 400. Okay, so you're going to have your 400 students plus whatever 5% of 400 is. What's 0.05 times 400? That is 20, right? And 400 plus 20 is 420. Okay, that's the first way you could do it. The second way you could do it is you could start with 100%, which would be all of your students. And if you have a 5% increase, you add 5% onto that. And what's 100% plus 5%? That's 105%. 105% as a decimal is 1.5. And if you have 1.05, right? 1.05 would be 105% as a decimal. So 1.05 times the original amount of 400 would give me the amount of students this year. 1.05 times 400 is 420 students. Okay, so put 420 students. That would represent a 5% increase. Number 7, a backpack that normally sells for $39 is on sale for 30% off. Okay, so this time I'm only going to show you the second way. If the backpack is normally $39, that would be 100% of the cost, right? If that's the full cost of the backpack normally. But now it's on sale for 30% off. So I'm going to take 30% away from 100%. Well, 100 minus 30 is 70%. Okay, so if it's 30% off, that means you're paying 70% for the backpack. What is 70% as a decimal? That'd be 0.70. And 70% of the original cost, 70% of 39, would give me the amount of the sale price. So 0.70 times 39, I would get 27.3. 27.3. Because money has 2 digits after the decimal, I got to add a placeholder 0 right there. And so this would be $27.30. In August, the Simmons water bill was $48. In September, it was 15% lower. What was the Simmons water bill in September? Okay, so if they're paying $48 in August, that is 100%, right? That's all the bill. They're paying all the bill, 100% of it. But the next month in September, it's 15% lower. So what's 100% minus 15%? Well, that would be 85%, right? So they're paying 85% of the original, 85% of the original, which was 48. Okay, now remember, change your percentage to a decimal. So 85% is 0.85. 0.85 times 48, that's going to give you the water bill in September. So 0.85 times 48 is 40.8. 40.8. Okay, remember money has two digits after the decimal, so you got to add a placeholder 0 after the 8. So $40.80. Okay, number 9, a gallery owner purchased a very old painting for $3,000. The painting sells at a 325% increase. What is the retail price of the painting? So if it was purchased for $300 or $3,000, that would be 100%, right? That's the full price that it was purchased at, 100%. But the painting sells at a 325% increase. So let's add 325% onto that original 100%, and that would give us 425%. Okay, 425% of the original cost. Well, 425%, what is that as a decimal? That is 4.25, right? Because you move your decimal 2 places to the left. So 4.25 times the original cost of 3,000, 4.25 times 3,000 would give me the retail price now. So 4.25 times 3,000 is 12,750. That's how much the painting is now. All right, you try number 10 and then click submit. View your score if you miss any. Click edit your response to fix the ones that you missed.